Alright, welcome to Preparing for Graduate School. The very first thing I'd like to do before we get into any of the content is just kind of go overview what the course objectives and schedule are so that you kind of know ahead of time what is going to be expected of you. Before we get into that, let me just give you a little bit about me and about the course and its history. To begin with, my name's Matt McGarity, so now you have a name to associate with the dulcet tones in your ears. I have a PhD in communication from 2005. I got that at Indiana University, where I also got my MA. My area of research and teaching is in rhetoric, argumentation, and public speaking. And one of the reasons I'm capable of doing this, I certainly can teach public speaking classes, but I sit on admissions committees and job search committees, and so I'm very familiar with what goes into the process of searching for searching through applicant files and admitting people to programs. Also, this is my third approach to the course. A couple of years ago, I was asked to teach an on-campus version of this course. Now, here at the University of Washington, we operate on a quarter system, so each course is 10 weeks. Now, I knew ahead of time that I was going to be teaching this course, and I've been here at the University of Washington for just about 10 years. And it's been a while since I sat in on a classroom as a student. Well, this was a wonderful opportunity for me. So I sat in on the class as a student for an entire quarter. I kind of had an idea I'd like to move this online, and so I wanted to sort of see the class, feel the class from the seats. And so I sat in on the course and took notes. I've got a big stack of notes from the professor who was teaching it at the time. Very helpful, and it sort of helped me sort of experience the course as a student might experience it. Well, then, of course, I taught it as the professor for a quarter. And again, that class had probably, 35 students. And so there were a lot of materials that existed prior to me teaching it. I developed a lot more materials. I had some wonderful assistants during that quarter. So there's a lot of material and resources that we've built up over time. And so now I'm designing it for online learning. And so just know that I'm trying to provide you with the benefits of the multiple iterations of this course. But anyways, now let's shift to what you're going to be doing. So I, like a lot of instructors, start at the end of the course. So I want to be able to design a course with the objectives in mind. So by the end of our 4 weeks together, you should be able to describe what goes on in graduate education. That's the first one. If you are going to be a successful applicant, you kind of need to know what grad school is like. Now, there's going to be tremendous variability based on the type of program that you're going into. Law school is different from med school, which is different from pharmacy school, which is different from an academic PhD program in anthropology. Nevertheless, there are some generalizable traits that you just need to know because they're going to be known by the people sitting in on the admissions committee. So that's great. That's sort of primary knowledge, and that is a way of getting to this deeper level of knowledge, which is what's going on in the graduate application process. So I would say one of the chief benefits of this course on campus and online is its demystifying effect. Just letting you know what happens when a group of program representatives go through a stack of applications. There are very particular concerns that most programs are going to have. One of the great tragedies, maybe that's a high word for it, one of the big problems that we notice a lot when going through applications is applicants probably have just gotten bad advice, and they don't really know what admissions committees are looking for. It's going to be much easier for someone to decide if that program's a good fit for you if that application file is written with an eye towards making the case for fit. Now, I'll unpack that, but in essence it means your interests and background sort of mean that you fit the program and the program fits your career interests. So those are sort of informational. And this is also going to help you identify and articulate your career and educational plans. Certainly you have those walking in, but being able to identify them more narrowly or being able to identify them more precisely in a way that an admissions committee would like to hear is going to help you articulate that both orally and in written form. And then finally, and this is the most important one, is prepare high quality application materials. I would say these first three are necessary informational content pieces that you just have to know in order to be able to prepare good application materials. So really we're going to be doing this background information with an eye towards helping you put together a really solid statement of purpose, an outstanding CV, being able to solicit letters of recommendation appropriately, being able to talk through your experiences with someone interpersonally, a program representative. So those are the course objectives. So then, how are we going to go about doing this? Well, I've got the course divided into 4 weeks. Let me say at the outset, as I was moving the pieces around, I tried to design it so you're spending more or less the same amount of time each week. So in this first week, we have actually 3 modules because we've got this overview module. But really what we're going to be doing in this first week is understanding the process of applying to graduate school and finding fit. Then, once we've got that information down, we're going to dive into personal statements, arguably the most important document in your entire file. And we're also going to be talking about how you're going to find funding for graduate school. Then we move on to CVs or resumes and how you're going to solicit letters of recommendation. And then finally, we end with a bit on orally communicating your fit for a program, and then I've got a final concluding thought today where I just sort of tie up some key themes from the course over the past month and direct you once again to the assignments that you're going to be turning in for professor review. All right, so in week 1, you're at the very beginning of week 1, which is just talking about what the course is and what you're going to be doing. Then we're going to move on to this broad informational goal of understanding graduate school and the application process, and really trying to provide you with a baseline level of information so that you can start working on the next step, which is researching schools and finding fit. This is a foundational concern that once you understand this concept of fit and how admissions committees are going to be thinking about fit, then we can start moving on to the preparation of the actual materials. So we go ahead and then start, based on that understanding of fit, on developing personal statements. Now, once again, like I said, I wanted to make sure that the weeks were more or less balanced out. So the personal statement day is going to certainly be module is going to take a lot more of your time than financing graduate school, which typically gives you some resources but is largely informative. And that's because I want to make sure that we sort of got a good even balance of time, because building your CV is going to take, like developing your personal statement, a great deal of time. And so I want to balance that with talking about some strategies for getting good letters of recommendation. And then in that final week, I am a speech teacher, and I think being able to articulate your case for fit interpersonally can go a long way towards making you a very strong applicant. So we'll talk about speaking in interviews or at conferences, and then, as I mentioned, we'll end with just a few concluding thoughts, some additional resources, and I'll direct you to turning in your materials for final review. So I just want to end this little overview with talking about how you're going to be getting the files that you need. So this first, what you're listening to now, is a Flash video, but all the subsequent course files are Adobe Presenter. So to view and to listen to the subsequent class videos, you're going to need a copy of Adobe Reader with the Adobe Presenter add-in. Both of these are free. So you'll notice that at the bottom, right below this video, there's a link, and you can go there if you don't already have Adobe Reader on your computer. I've given you the link there where you can download the free version, and then when you go to open your first course file, it'll ask you to add in the Adobe Presenter add-in. Again, both are free.